Adam and Eve stood at the eastern gate of Eden, hand in hand, looking back at the garden they would never enter again. A flaming sword flashed in the darkness, turning every way to guard the way home. In the beginning, the earth was formless and empty. Darkness covered the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God hovered over the waters. Then, God spoke. Light blazed into existence, piercing the darkness and dividing day from night. He separated the waters above from the waters below, and called the dry ground forth from the sea. God filled the earth with life. Grass and fruit trees sprang from the soil. The sun, moon, and stars were set in the sky. Fish filled the seas and birds soared through the air. Every kind of creature moved upon the land. Then God did something new. He stooped down and formed a man from the dust of the ground. The shape lay still on the earth, perfect but lifeless, waiting for the breath of its maker. God breathed into the man's nostrils the breath of life. Adam's chest rose. His eyes opened, and he became a living soul. He looked up into the face of his Creator for the very first time. God planted a garden in Eden in the east and placed Adam there. A river flowed out of Eden and divided into 4. The garden was filled with trees that were beautiful to the eye and good for food. In the very center of the garden stood 2 trees. The tree of life, with leaves that shimmered like liquid gold, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, its fruit glowing with a strange and terrible beauty. God brought every animal and bird to Adam to see what he would name them. The lion, the eagle, the horse, the serpent. Whatever Adam called each living creature, that was its name. But for Adam himself, no suitable helper was found. He stood among all the creatures of the garden, surrounded by life, yet completely alone. God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam. He took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh. From that rib, God formed a woman and brought her to the man. Adam's eyes opened. He looked at the one standing before him, and his heart recognized her instantly. Bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman. Adam named her Eve, the mother of all living. They walked together through the garden in perfect trust. No shame, no fear, no hiding. The man and his wife were both naked and felt no shame at all. The whole world was theirs, and every day was good. But the serpent was more crafty than any other beast. One day it approached Eve near the center of the garden, where the forbidden tree stood. Its voice was smooth and coiled with hidden intent. Did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden? The serpent's question hung in the air. Eve answered carefully. We may eat from all the trees, but not from this one. If we eat or touch it, we will die. The serpent's eyes glinted. You will not surely die. God knows that when you eat of it, your eyes will be opened. You will be like God, knowing good and evil. The words settled into her mind like a slow poison. Eve looked at the tree. Its fruit was beautiful. It looked good for food. It promised wisdom. She reached out, plucked the fruit from the branch, and ate. Then she turned and gave some to Adam, who was with her, and he ate too. In that instant, their eyes were opened. The innocence shattered. They looked at each other and saw their nakedness for the first time. Shame flooded through them. They sewed fig leaves together and covered themselves. Then they heard the sound of God, walking in the garden in the cool of the day. For the first time in their existence, Adam and Eve hid from his presence among the trees. "Where are you?" God called out. His voice was not angry, but full of sorrow. Adam answered from the shadows, "I heard you in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked. So I hid." God's question cut through the darkness. "Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree I commanded you not to eat from?" The blame began. Adam pointed at Eve. "The woman you gave me, she gave me the fruit, and I ate." Eve pointed at the serpent. "He deceived me, and I ate." But the choice had already been made, and no excuse could undo it. God made garments of skin and clothed them, covering their shame with a sacrifice. Then he drove the man and woman out of the garden. He placed cherubim at the east of Eden and a flaming sword that turned every way to guard the way to the tree of life. Adam and Eve walked eastward into a world they had never known. The garden gates closed behind them forever. But even as they walked, Eve carried a promise in her heart. A hope whispered in the darkness. One day, a descendant would crush the serpent's head.